Hey everyone, welcome back to your week ahead astrology breakdown with me, Matthew from Stillwater Alchemy. This week we have the beautiful new moon in Libra. We have Venus ingressing into Sagittarius and a very interesting South Node transit at the end of the week. So there is a lot going on. So let's break it down, shall we? Also, too, if you're curious and wanting to learn more about astrology, I would recommend watching the previous week ahead breakdown and kind of see how the week went for you. And if you can kind of match it up to the transits, because really understanding how these transits to the moon or how these are affecting you with your own individual natal chart will help you in the long run plan and discern and have more fun with the astrology in general. Okay. So if that interests you, that's what I would really recommend in terms of a retrospective, reflective energy. And I mean, yes, we still are in that Mercury retrograde. So words may be elusive, or you may just be forgetting things, or even just a little bit more tired than usual. So be kind to yourself and please, please, please get grounded. I keep preaching this and I'm not going to stop, because even as we start the week, and as a reminder, we're currently based out of Toronto, so we're using Eastern Standard Time. And each of these days, I'm going to be starting at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. But the moon is in Virgo, which has a more clean up your life type energy. It can be very productive as well. But remember, since we're just 2 days away from the new moon in Libra, we're in that dark moon phase. So, for example, a lot of women get their periods along this time. You can be a bit more fatigued or just tired or wanting to wrap up loose ends. So take this time to prepare for the week, fill up your fridge, clean the home, make sure that you're ready to welcome in new blessings that are going to come with that new moon midweek. Okay. And even when we get to Tuesday, the moon is now at the very beginning of Libra, and we can see this grand air trine with the North Node and then with Saturn retrograde in Aquarius. So for me, this is also curious with Mercury still being retrograde. With the moon trine Saturn, there may be an opportunity where a contract or a relationship comes back into scope, or just something that needs revision. And so not because of Mercury retrograde, but because of this dark moon phase, things may not be illuminated, or there might be something hidden. So if there is something that you need to initiate or launch, I would wait until Wednesday. So something does cross your desk or an email and you're just not feeling it, or something really is causing intense emotion, because we do have Mars in the mix in Libra right now. Take time to cool off before you respond. I just feel like with all of this air energy and then this grand air trine, that there may be something that needs some attention and hard work with that moon trine Saturn, or that you've been working really hard towards. But you want to make sure that you're in the right state of mind to make that decision and answer coherently. Because like I said, we're still in that dark moon phase. We're coming up to that new moon, and now we have a grand air trine. One last time, I may say it again, but please, please, please meditate, breath work, journaling, take time to calm your mind so that little things throughout the day don't unravel you or cause you great stress. That is really going to be important, because now we see with the moon in Libra, we now have 6 planets in air signs. So lots of potential to accelerate our thoughts for good or bad outcomes to occur. And so that's what I was saying at the end of my last video with the moon entering Virgo on Sunday, was that it's a great time to just chill, recuperate, and make sure that we're stocked up for the week. Because when we get to Wednesday, this is when we have the beautiful new moon, and the new moon will be exact at 7:05 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And on that exact new moon, we're also going to have Mars cazimi the sun. So you can't see it here, but a cazimi is when a planet is within 1 degree or 15 minutes of the sun. So it's said to be in the heart of the king, or so close to the sun, the energy of that planet gets amplified. So not only do we have a new moon, we have Mars cazimi the sun. So this is a beautiful day to be mindful, to do any kind of ritual work, and just to get focused on what you want and what you're fighting for. Because that is a really big energy with Mars, and really fighting for what's fair and what's balanced and what you are wanting in your life moving forward. If you want a resource to further delve into these new moon themes, our new moon workshop is available on our website. And I have coupled it as well in a different product for the Mercury retrograde workshop as well. So if you haven't taken our Mercury retrograde workshop, you can save money if you buy both of them together, or you can choose either or. But there are resources there if you'd like to really further go into these themes more. But if we're just going with the transits, there's just this beautiful triple conjunction that a lot of astrologers have been keeping their eye on for a long time right now. So please pay attention to that. And especially we can see here that opposition to Chiron. So there may be some inner work or inner healing about how you're showing up independently and what you're receiving back from relationships. So just some things to note. And the last thing I'll say with this Wednesday, October 6th, it's Venus's last day in Scorpio before she moves into Sagittarius. So as you're partaking in the new moon energy, or just reflecting right now as you're watching the video, what have you learned over the past few weeks with Venus being in Scorpio, how you've shown up in relationships, how certain relationships have ended, or certain relationships needed to go through a little bit of turbulence or hard work or vulnerability to get to the next level. I've just seen it in many consults, DMs, comments that a lot of people are breaking up, getting divorced, leaving jobs, situations that are no longer serving them. So it can be a more intense transit for Venus, or for those that don't have a lot of Scorpio placements in their chart. But we now, when we move to Thursday, have Venus in Sagittarius. So this generally for me is a more lighthearted, favorable energy for Venus to enjoy. It kind of gives me a Godiva type energy, freedom, adventure, fun, generosity. These are all kind of keywords that I affiliate with Venus when she's transiting through Sagittarius. And for those of you who have dominant Sagittarius energy in your chart, this can be a nice, light transit for you, because you have been going through a lot with that South Node in Sagittarius ending its 18 months or so transit that it's been here. So you're almost out of that for those of you with dominant Sagittarius energy. And I do think just for everyone, and I mean, we're kind of coming into that holiday season, but for the next few weeks with Venus in Sagittarius, I want you to focus on, what does freedom mean for you? What does fun mean for you in love, in beauty, in relationships? I really want you to emphasize that right now, because we will have Venus making some nice sextile aspects to Saturn and Jupiter during her stay here. And I also want to point out that we now have Pluto direct. So Pluto went direct when we had that new moon in Libra. So this is a beautiful time as the planets are now shifting to pay attention to your energy. And if you haven't at this point in the week done some work with that new moon energy, I would do so now with Venus and Sagittarius. You may just have a different outlook, or more hope, or more ease, we shall say, in how you attract love and wealth into your life. And so Friday is a very interesting day. I will say that Friday will get easier as the day goes along. So we can see here at 9 a.m. that the moon is at 13 degrees Scorpio. She makes an opposition to Uranus, and she's making a separating square to Saturn. So you may just feel a bit emotional or raw, or in all the feelings coming up on Friday, or maybe you let go of a relationship or ended an energetic contract earlier on the week, and now you're feeling a certain type of way about it. I will say, if we go hour by hour on this Friday, as we progress, and let's say get to 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we now have the moon at 19 degrees within 3 degrees of making a square to Jupiter, and she's making a trine to Neptune. So I do think that Friday night, there could be some temptation to do something naughty, or let your hair down. And that for me may be a beautiful time to experience pleasure and joy, but don't engage in the shadow aspect of that, of going into a vice or a temptation because you're stressed or anxious. It's more so a great way to honor the week than to try and numb yourself from a stressor. Okay. So Friday, it really will be leading into that buildup. And Friday night has the potential to welcome in more pleasurable energy, but don't just jump into something because you're stressed or trying to get rid of something, because there is that energy with Neptune that it can just be, oh, let's just play here and lose sight of everything. Or setting the proper intention to celebrate and honor all the work you've done, I think will be a great way to move into that Friday night. So if we're going into Saturday at 9 a.m., we now have the moon at the tail end of Scorpio. But what's interesting here is that we have the South Node and Venus conjunct at 2 degrees. And if we fast forward this to 3 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Saturday, we see that we have the moon, Venus, and the South Node all conjunct at 2 degrees. So this is something I really want you to watch, because the South Node has an energy of release or taking away or letting go of something that is no longer serving you. I always compare South Node transits to sometimes being the Tower card in tarot, where it can seem ominous and intense, but it's just removing an energy or a situation or a relationship that is not allowing you to further expand. So this can be, especially with the moon and Venus, this can be a feminine energy that is no longer in your life. So maybe you're letting go of a partner or a friend or a colleague, or it can also be something you find pleasure in doing or once found pleasure in doing. So you're like, I really like to go partying, but it's just not really serving me anymore. And I want to focus on other aspects of my life. Or it can even be that you were working with a trainer or a coach or a therapist, and now you're ready to seek out someone else that can hold space for you in a different way. So this would just be something on Saturday and even Sunday, how that's really working for you. And it's going to manifest differently for everyone. But for those of you that are born during Sagittarius season, for those of you that are born in that first decan, so let's say November 23rd till November 30th, you may notice this even more so, or if your ascendant or moon natally is in those first few degrees of Sagittarius, or even in any of the mutable signs, so Sagittarius, Virgo, Gemini, or Pisces, this South Node transit hitting Venus and the moon may be even more intense. But for me, this really is kind of like the aspect of the week, even for me, a little bit more interesting than the new moon, because this really will be, especially for Sagittarius dominant individuals, it might just be the final thing that you're letting go of, or one more thing that has to just be examined to make way for all the blessings to happen when we hit Sagittarius season, when we get to next year, when the South Node leaves Sagittarius. Okay. So this is just from an astrological standpoint, really exciting to see how it's going to manifest for everyone, myself included. My natal Mercury is in Sagittarius. So we shall see how that manifests. But yeah, this is kind of putting a star on your journal. And again, it doesn't have to be turbulent that you're going to leave or get divorced or something like that. It can be, or can just be a thought that has been inhibiting pleasure that we get to now release. So be open to seeing how that can really resonate. And for more specificity, look to the house in your own natal chart that's ruled by Sagittarius, because that will allow you to see even more. So let's say you're a Leo rising. So Sagittarius would then rule your 5th house. So there may be something to do with your children, or with the topic of sex and creativity or sport or adventure that is now examined in greater scope. Or maybe you're a Gemini rising. So Sagittarius rules your 7th house. So maybe there's a relationship or a client that you're letting go of to make space for yourself or for something greater to take its place. Okay. So that would be one thing that I would recommend, is to look at your own natal chart. Even if you have nothing in Sagittarius, the house that Sagittarius rules will give you a hint as to where in your life this may take place. And if you don't know all the houses, just Google it. You can say 7th house ruled by Sagittarius or 9th house ruled by Sagittarius, and it'll give you lots of resources to read if you want more information. And then now just fast forwarding to Sunday, we have, like I said, the moon is still in Sagittarius at this point. So like I said, I would really take stock of what's been happening all weekend, what's been happening all week. And also too, we do have the moon in between Saturn and Jupiter. So she's still making a separating sextile to Saturn, making an applied sextile to Jupiter. So for me, this is kind of like a blessing or a secret admirer or something that can come in to really help you with what you've dealt with throughout the week. So don't be afraid of losing something, but rather be excited of what you're going to gain, especially if you did work around the new moon, or if you've just been doing a lot of this interpersonal work, a lot of this spiritual work. There's always a optimism or a hope with Sagittarius transits. And so having the moon co-present Venus and making sextiles to both Saturn and Jupiter all throughout the weekend, really, it's just a time for you to really be grounded in gratitude and allow the universe to work its magic and a little bit of letting go. Sagittarians know how to party. They're very intelligent. They're very philosophical as well. And so I think the more that you can surrender and let go, especially with this South Node energy, the more blessings that can come through, okay? And for some people, the notion of letting go is easier than others. So this can just be a great opportunity for you to further surrender and allow the universe to take the wheel, okay? So lots of exciting aspects, especially if you are an astrology nerd or just get excited. I think everyone is ready for Venus to enter Sagittarius. That new moon with that Cazimi energy in there, also very strong. Oh, there was one more thing I wanted to share. Speaking of Mercury retrograde, what day was it? If we go back to this, we will have a triple conjunction with the Sun, Mars, and Mercury. So if we go back, pardon me, I wanted to bring this up sooner. Yeah, so Saturday, when we have that build up with the South Node Venus and later the moon, we can also see here that Mars, the Sun, and Mercury are all at 16 degrees, all within 1 degree of one another. So we have Mercury and Mars, Cazimi the Sun. So Saturday, like I said, is a very intense day. Definitely the most energetically charged of the week. And then Sunday can kind of help us out to rebalance when the moon is making those sextiles. But yeah, Saturday, triple conjunction, double Cazimi, and then we have that South Node with Venus. It's a lot. So that is the week ahead. If there is one certain transit that you're really excited about, please be sure to note in the comments, or what you're claiming or working towards with this new moon energy in Libra midweek. If you have any questions, you can let me know. And of course, as I said before, our new moon in Libra workshop is now available. And if you want to save some money and haven't taken the Mercury retrograde workshop yet, those are now bundled together. And again, the link is below and all that information can be found on our website, okay? Thank you all so much for watching. Have a beautiful week. Please stay grounded and protect and really delve into your mental and spiritual practices and watch all the magic flow in, because this is definitely one of the most interesting and intense weeks that I have looked at in a while. Lots to look forward to, lots to be excited about, okay? You got this. Bye.